Yesterday we talked about the three mental states, wholesome mental states, Vipassana Samadhi, called Samadhi Khanda, concentration group, or Samadhi Sekha, concentration training, or Samatha, tranquility practice. This was discussed. Samatha is so called because it tranquilizes the antagonistic states, the opposing states. And these three mental states have each its own qualities. And we discussed that yesterday, both from the theoretical and practical aspects. If we are able to cultivate this group, Vipassana Samadhi, constantly, all the time, and let it develop in our stream of consciousness, then we can develop it, enhance it, so that we will be able to overcome the obsessive forms of defilements known as pariyotana kilesas. They will not have a chance to rise in our stream of consciousness so long as we are able to develop these three mental states, Vipassana Samadhi, so that we'll be free of impurities. We do it gradually, so that we become, our stream of consciousness become free of these mental impurities, so that our mind becomes free and pure, so that our stream of consciousness becomes properly shaped. However much we practice to eradicate the obsessive defilements in this way with the practice of samatha, we are still having these latent forms of kilesas. We are not able to uproot the latent tendencies of defilements. Only when we are able to uproot these latent tendencies will we be able to feel assured. This we can do it with the cultivation of wisdom or knowledge. Wisdom means discriminating knowledge. Cultivating insight knowledge, beginning with the discernment of mind and body. That this is the mind, this is the body, this is the noting mind, this is the noting object. In this way we are able to discriminate between these two things. And then progressing towards the conditionality of these things, that is cause and effect of mind and body, and progressing towards the knowledge of the universal characteristics, such as impermanence and so on. All these things will be cultivated in stages, so that they are not mixed with each other, they are not confused with one another. Instead, we are able to discriminate between these things, such as Vipassana Panya, insight wisdom or insight knowledge. At that time, every time we note an object, we are eradicating, uprooting the kilesas regarding this object. That is only momentary basis, on a momentary basis, known as Tatanga. So that happens at the moment of the cultivation of insight knowledge, Vipassana Jnana. We are able to eradicate these defilements on a part-time basis. We can only eradicate on a full-time basis only when we realize the path consciousness, Ariya Mega, the noble path. And in order to realize this noble path, we got to practice insight. We got to cultivate insight knowledge, Vipassana Jnana, beforehand, in stages, progressively, in order to come to the stage of the Ariya Mega Jnana, the knowledge of the noble path. Then we are able to eradicate these relevant kilesas on a full-time basis. That means the latent tendencies of defilements are said to be uprooted on a full-time basis. For instance, if you are able to cultivate or realize the first path, Sotapaddi Mega, or become Sotapanna, then we will be eradicating these defilements such as Sakaya Ditti, Vicikicca, Silabara Pramasa, all these things will be eradicated on a full-time basis. Things beforehand we used to entertain this existence of jiva, atta, self or soul, and this also will be overcome when we are able to cultivate this Sakaya Ditti, overcome Sakaya Ditti, overcome the Ditti, overcome wrong view. And then there will be no doubts about the three gems, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. The doubts regarding the existence of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha will be overcome. There will be no vicikicca, skeptical doubt about this. And then, before we did not understand the right path. We might have known the wrong path, leading to wrong destination. That by following the wrong path, so-and-so path which is wrong, one can be led to total cessation. Now we come to know the right path. Thus we are able to overcome the Siddhapara Paramasa, which is right and which is wrong. We come to understand which is the right path and which is the wrong path. Now we are walking the correct path, especially through our own experiential knowledge, through our own practical experience, so that we come to understand that such and such a thing is the wrong path and such and such a thing is the right path. So that this Siddhapara Paramasa will be overcome. And then the apaya-related kilesas, defilements such as greed, hatred, delusion, which will pull you down to the states of loss, also will be overcome. You will not fall down into the states of loss because of this gross form of kilesas. In this way, the gross forms of impurities which are related to apaya will be overcome. So in order to do a full-time basis, to cultivate, to overcome these things on a full-time basis, you must try to overcome on a part-time basis first and foremost. Only when you practice Vipassana jnana and weaken the kilesas gradually, stage by stage, will you be able to eradicate these apaya-related defilements and so on a full-time basis with the realization of the path consciousness, Riya Mega, the path of the noble ones. Now we are practicing in order to cultivate insight knowledge, Vipassana jnana, so that we are able to overcome the wrong views. And gradually, we are eradicating these wrong views. First of all, we can cultivate knowledge beginning with the discernment of mind and body, and then progressing towards the knowledge of the nature, true nature of the objects. Such as a practice beforehand, as a preliminary, as a prelude to the realization of the path consciousness. From the beginning of the practice, you note the main object of rising and falling while you're sitting, and watch your foot during walking, noting as right step, left step, and then coming to lifting, placing, and finally coming to lifting, moving, and placing. All these things are the main objects during sitting and walking. Other general objects, as they become obvious, also are noted in this way. So we first focus our mind on the object of attention. It is also called aiming, so that the noting mind becomes concurrent with the object. Now this aiming or focusing is a jhanic factor. It has the nature of penetrating, sinking into the object by aiming. So we say aiming and penetrating in the form of a jhanic, in the nature of jhana, practicing jhana. If we don't cultivate that, we are not able to become concurrent with the object of attention. In simple language, we may call it vitakka. But when we do it systematically, It is called Samma Sankappa, the right aim. So in the beginning of the practice, however much you may aim, your noting mind may not come into focus or become concurrent with the object of meditation. It may overshoot the object or miss the object. So, however, when you make a practice of it, you're focusing, aiming. Your noting mind is coming into face to face with the object of attention, so that the noting mind is sustained on the object, which is vitakka, aiming. The noting mind will be sustained on the object, which is known as vichara. As a result of vitakka, they bring about vichara. As a result of aiming, there comes about the sustaining of the noting mind on the object. So, when the noting mind is focused on the object, is concurrent with the object, these undermining elements such as the kamicchanda nivarnas, the hindrances of sense desire, and there are also other hindrances, will not have a chance to arise in your stream of consciousness. They are said to be subdued or tranquilized or overcome. In 1 minute, with 60 seconds in 1 minute, at the rate of 1 second, by aiming, by focusing, by concurrency, and 60 times you are free of these hindrances, undermining elements, the hindrances to progress. These things are impurities. These impurities can torment you, undermine you, and weaken your knowledge. That's why they are called known as undermining elements. When you are free of these undermining elements, impurities, then your stream of consciousness is free of impurities, so that they become pure. In this way, you make it a practice in order to come into focus with the noted object, so that later on with the practice, you do not need to aim it purposely. As soon as you note, your noting mind will will become concurrent with the object automatically. So whenever an object rises, your noting mind will go there to note, and it will be automatically focused because you are, as a result of your practice. Because you have done it previously, the preceding practice has caused the development, the maturity of the succeeding result. It is the result in form of the coming into focus, focusing your noted object. Such is the aim or Samma Sankappa. If that happens, then there will be no chance of this wrongful thoughts. Wrongful thoughts are of three kinds, namely Kama Vidaka. That is thoughts of sensual pleasures, wishing to enjoy good sight, good sound, good taste, good touch, and so on, and wishing to enjoy more and more, better and better things. Such is Kama Vidaka, thoughts of sensual pleasures or sensuous thoughts. Now, this will not have a chance to arise. And also, there will be no thought of harming others, Vyabhada Vidaka, wishing to destroy others, wishing to kill others. This is again another wrongful thought, known as Vyabhada Vidaka, thoughts of harm towards others, and then Vihimsa Vidaka, causing destruction of others. All these three Miccha Vidaka, wrongful thoughts, will not arise in your stream of consciousness, so that your mind will be free of these three wrongful thoughts, Miccha Vidakas. So every time the noting mind is concurrent with the object, there will be only skillful mental states in your stream of consciousness, and also there will be knowing the true nature of things. You'll be able to cultivate the true nature of the mind-body objects. For instance, when you're noting rising, when your noting mind is focused on stiffness, you will be knowing as stiffness. When your noting mind is concurrent with tension, you will be knowing or observing as tension. And when your noting mind is concurrent with movement, you will be knowing it as movement. All these things are sensations, or sabhavas, the essential qualities, natural qualities. And you are cultivating knowledge. You are seeing the true nature of the objects noted. And this kind of knowledge is known as samma ditti, the right understanding or the right view. As much as the noting mind is concurrent, which is samma sankappa, there will arise this samma ditti, the right view or right understanding. And these two things constitute what is known as Panya Khanda, the wisdom group, or the group of wisdom. These two things are known as Panya Khanda, or Panya Sekha, the wisdom training, or Panya Sasana, wisdom teaching, or in short, just Panya, wisdom or knowledge. And this knowledge does not arise through conceptual knowledge. It arises through your experiential knowledge, through your own practice, bhavana panya. So the objects, with the objects noted, kilesas will not, the latent form of kilesas will be uprooted as regards the objects noted, so that there will be more and more purity in your mind. With the samatha, that is the Priyasri Samadhi concentration group, you are overcoming pariyutthana kilesas, obsessive forms of defilements. And with the cultivation of insight knowledge, panya, you are eradicating the latent tendencies, anusaya kilesas, so that your mind becomes more and more pure. So that at that moment, your stream of consciousness becomes very beautiful. In 1 minute, with the 60 seconds, if you are able to note every second of the time, then you are cultivating this beautiful stream of consciousness and eradicating the latent tendencies 60 times, so that you are 60 times pure, 60 moments pure. In 5 minutes, you are pure 300 times, and in 1 hour, you'll be making yourself beautiful and pure 3,600 times. Of course, that happens only when your noting mind is focused, purposely focused correctly on the object. It will not happen every time you note, because every time you note, your noting mind may not be focused on the object. Charles says he would like to give you a model or an example. Let us say, for some reason, you want to bend or stretch your hand or foot. If you are not being mindful with the practice of Satipatthana, you will not know anything. Maybe you know something that is bending or stretching. I am bending or stretching. Or the bending or stretching is I. The one who is bending or stretching is I. This may be known to you. And maybe you'll be able to observe the form of the hand or the foot. So, such kind of knowledge is just traditional, usual knowledge. They have little value. In fact, during the stretching and bending process, there are these mind, body, materiality, mentality, nama, rupa, in pairs, in groups. For instance, during the bending process, there is the desire to bend, the intention to bend. This is mentality, Dhamma. Followed by the bending process, which is rupa, materiality. Because of this desire to bend, there arises this bending process. Bending means, although we call it bending, it is made up of sensations, the qualities such as stiffness, tension, movement, pulling, pushing, heat, cold, and so on. In theoretical and literary terms, we may call them vayo dhatu, that is the element of wind, or element of distension. And in normal usage, we call it, we become stiff, we become tensed. there was movement, there was pulling and pushing and so forth. So, all these things can be said in a simple language. So, at the moment of bending and stretching, there are this mind and body, materiality and mentality. Whatever you do, whenever you move or turn around or sit or stand, there is always the desire or wish to sit or stand, followed by actual sitting or standing process. Even when you are walking, lifting, moving and pressing, there is the desire to lift. Because of the intention to lift, you lift your foot. And because of the intention to move, you move your foot. And because of the intention to place your foot, you place your foot down. This is quite evident. These things are materiality, mentality, nama, rupa. They're quite obvious. So in the bending process, the stages of the desire as intention occurs in stages, not just one intention. There are many intentions, series of intentions, stages of intentions, known as mentality, a desire to stretch or bend, followed by stages, not just one bending, but many, many bendings, stages of instance of bending process, which is the materiality, rupa. The intention is nama, and the bending, actual bending is rupa. They occur in stages. So, one has got to be mindful at the very moment of bending or stretching. And during this bending process, there you can observe this mind and body, materiality, mentality, nama, rupa. So if you want to know exactly, you just apply these two mental powers as we have discussed, aiming or focusing, and the application of driving force or energy or virya. At the moment of arising, you aim at the object. Either it is intention and mentality or materiality, you focus your attention towards the object. Then you apply this driving force, energy, in order to know the object, so that the body mind is sustained on the object. In this way you will come to observe this mind and body occurring in pairs. And that can be observed only when you are with the moment, when you note at the very moment of arising. Even if nothing happens, that means no knowledge occurs, you know this as when you are noting this, when you're noting as wishing to bend and bending, wishing to stretch and stretching, your mind becomes stilled, your mind becomes concentrated, and there will be no distraction, there will be no restlessness, no dispersion. The mind will become fall calm and collected on the object of attention. The mind will become pure. Such is the immediate benefit. At that time, you'll be free of impurities. Your mind will become pure. That is because of the because you sustain your mindfulness with the application of focusing power and the power of energy, driving force. So that you are able to control your mind. Such is a way to tame your mind with aiming. That is, by aiming, you are cultivating one power of the mind, the quality of mental state. By applying your driving force, energy, you are also developing another power, that is power of energy. And this will lead to satipala, the power of mindfulness, and the resulting concentration, the mind falling calm and collected on the object of attention, falling calm and collected. That is concentration, samadhi, bala, the power of concentration. So all these things are, when they happen, your mind will become free of impurities. As a group, they have such qualities, abilities, and also each of them has a quality. So, during this bending process, you are knowing this, you are knowing the existence of mentality and materiality, the mentality in the form, the nama in the form of wishing or intending to bend in stages, and then the materiality of rupa the banning process, following the intention in stages, until you are able to reach the maturity of the practice. Then you will come to see the conditionality of mind and body, mentality, materiality. That the intention is the cause. Intention is the mentality. Nama is the cause, and the materiality, rupa, is the effect. So you come to understand the cause and the effect. That is one kind of knowledge of the conditionality. And as much as you are able to apply this Vipassana Samadhi, the concentration group, you come to observe that old is giving place to the new. All the old objects are giving place to the new, moment by moment. And you come to realize the impermanence of the forms of existence. That everything is transitory. They are never stable for one moment. So, you come to know exactly this knowledge. So what Sayadaw is saying may be in a very small amount. What you know may be a lot if you take up the practice. And then you come to understand that things are happening on their own. There's nothing to control. Nothing is manageable. Nothing is controllable. They arise at their own will and not at your will. This is how you are able to cultivate your mind in a very wonderful manner, in an extraordinary manner. So this way one trains one's mind so that one's mind will become pure in an extraordinary manner, in an unusual manner. Otherwise, if you keep it as such without any training, the mind will not become pure automatically. So one has got to cherish and appreciate the practice while you have the chance to do so. As much as your mind needs to be improved or trained, your body also needs to be improved or trained. There is this expression as asara, that is achara. That is making a habit to improve yourself by ordinary means, by wearing clothes which fit you, suitable for you, and the way you talk, the way you smile or laugh, or the way you eat, all the manners that you possess go to make yourself, your personality graceful and pleasant. This is achara. Not yet the Dhamma. The Dhamma nature is another thing by which you can improve yourself. So as much as you are able to take care in these things, clothing, speaking, and behavior, manners, you'll be able to improve your material body so that the quality of your body will arise. Such is the practice result of achara, habit, and not yet the practice by means of sila, moral conduct. Now, there's a sila aspect, moral conduct aspect, in order to improve yourself. Moral aspect by way of abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, harsh speech, and malicious talk, and all that sort of thing, and all these physical and verbal acts of misconduct. If you abstain from physical and verbal misconduct, then you can improve your body by means of sila, moral conduct. As much as you sustain the sila, moral conduct, you are able to purify your physical and verbal behaviors. Such is the result of the practice of sila. You have to make a habit of that. And in the lay people, the minimum moral conduct that they must possess is the 5 precepts. This is required by everybody, every human being, and not only Buddhists, but people of all walks of life, all religions, all nationalities, all races. They should possess minimum the 5 moral conduct. This is a human conduct, human culture. So one should be able to live with it so as to uplift oneself. And this serves as a standard of measurement in assessing the quality of each individual. If you're not in accordance with this moral conduct, then your status will be lowered. So this is how one can assess by means of the moral conduct. And just with achara is not enough. Habits to improve your physical body is not enough. Although by improving your body, by clothing in the right way and so on, you look good, pleasant, graceful. But you need to sustain this human conduct, human culture, in order to uplift yourself. Especially, this is very important, especially in the practice of high-level discipline, of the way of mindfulness. The moral conduct, sila, is of paramount. Controlling yourself. As for the monks, they have their own disciplinary rules, and the same thing goes with lay people. They have their own moral conduct. So, just like the mouth, when you have a mouth, you can eat. You can put in food through the mouth into your body. If the mouth is not in good condition, or if you have no mouth, then you will not be able to put in food into your body. So also with the sila mouth. Sila is like the mouth. Without sila, you will not be able to cultivate concentration and panya, samadhi and panya. Your sila is like a mouth. As much as the mouth is good for the food, so is sila. Your sila must be properly sustained. So sila is also compared to a tree, or branch of a tree, or the tree itself. Now, if the tree is growing properly, with all the healthy branches, properly, with all the healthy branches, properly, with all the healthy branches,